Welcome to Rewire the Thoughts, where ancient wisdom meets modern reflection. Discover timeless ideas reimagined for today's world.
All right, today we're diving into a story that just completely turns everything you think you know about mythology, about war, about divinity on its head. We're talking the Immortals of Meluha. Let's do this. So, the whole saga kicks off with this really powerful question. What if someone wasn't born a god? What if they became one, just through their actions, through their karma? I mean, think about that. This story is all about exploring how exactly that could even happen. Our story is set in this place called Meluha. And, on the surface, it's this picture-perfect empire. But if you scratch that surface just a little bit, underneath all that perfection, there's this really deep fear and also a desperate hope. And it's all pinned on this one single ancient legend. So before we even get to our hero, you gotta understand the world he's about to walk into. It's a world that's right on the edge, just desperately waiting for someone to save it. So, welcome to Meluha. It's ruled by the Suryavanshis, and honestly, it's pretty much a utopia. But, and this is a big but, this perfect society is built on some really fragile ground. It's constantly threatened by this bitter, long-running war with their enemies. And who are these big, bad enemies? Well, from the Meluhan perspective, it's the Chandravanshis. They're basically seen as the source of every single problem Meluha has. They get blamed for these horrible, vicious attacks that have shaken the entire empire. When you're that desperate, you start looking for hope anywhere you can find it. And in Meluha, that hope actually has a name. The Neelkanth. It's this ancient legend. It talks about a savior, a warrior who has a blue throat, who's going to show up in their absolute darkest hour and just lead them to victory. And what do you know? Right on cue, this outsider shows up. And this is where the story really catches fire. This is where we see a simple man start to transform into a living, breathing god. And we're not talking about some prince or a king here. Nope. This is Shiva. He's the chief of the small, tough-as-nails tribe from the mountains of Tibet. He's not looking for glory. He's not trying to fulfill some prophecy. He's literally just trying to find a safe, new home for his people. He's a practical guy, not a messiah. And his transformation, it happens so fast it'll give you whiplash. I mean, think about it like this. On day one, he's an immigrant, a refugee just trying to keep his tribe safe. A couple days later, he gets sick, and they give him this local remedy, this drink called samras. But whoa, it does a lot more than just cure his fever. His throat turns this deep, unmistakable blue. And just like that, by the next day, he's not just Shiva anymore. He is the Neelkanth, the legend, standing right there in the flesh. But, being a living god isn't exactly a walk in the park. Shiva finds himself thrown right into two totally different but equally massive battles. So, Shiva's got to fight on two fronts at once. You've got the external war, the one everybody sees where he's leading the Meluhan army against their so-called enemies. But then there's this internal battle, this private one, and you could argue it's even harder. He falls in love with a woman named Sati, a princess who, because of this really unjust social law, has been branded an outcast. She's considered untouchable. Yeah, Sati is the emperor's own daughter, and yet she's been labeled of a karma. That means she's seen as cursed, paying for the sins of a past life. She can't marry, she's an outcast in her own home. And Shiva? He doesn't buy into any of these rigid rules. So he decides, you know what? I'm not just fighting for Meluha, I'm fighting for her. And in doing that, he's challenging the entire social fabric of the very society he's meant to be saving. And it's through these two battles, the one on the battlefield and the one in the royal court, that those really clear, clean lines between good and evil, they start to get super, super blurry. So as Shiva gets deeper and deeper into this war, he starts seeing things that just don't add up. That whole official story he was fed, the clean, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys narrative, it starts to just fall apart. He starts to ask himself, am I even on the right side? Am I really a savior here? Or am I just a pawn in someone else's game? And this is the moment where Shiva's black and white world just completely shatters, right? He was told that Chandravanshis were these evil, deformed monsters, but then he meets them and realizes they're just ordinary people. He was told this life-giving Somras was some kind of divine gift from the gods, but then he discovers its dangerous hidden side effects, and all of a sudden it clicks. Good and evil, they aren't facts. They're just a matter of perspective. That realization, it changes everything. Absolutely everything. The fight isn't just about winning a war anymore. Now it's about finding the truth. The real battle, well, it's only just beginning. So if you strip away all the epic battles and the action, what you're left with is a story that's really wrestling with some huge ideas. It's challenging us, you know? It's saying, hey, divinity isn't about your birthright. It's about what you do. It's a critique of these rigid social systems that punish people for things they can't even control. And maybe most importantly, it holds up a mirror to society itself. And it asks us, what are the hidden costs of our so-called perfect solutions? And that is the massive question the story leaves us all to wrestle with. I mean, if everyone believes they're fighting for what's right, if both sides are convinced they're the heroes of their own story, then who's the villain? What even is true evil? Is it a person? An idea? Or is it just that simple, terrifying conviction that you are absolutely 100% right? It's a thought that really sets the stage for everything that comes next.
Thanks for watching. Let's pause for a minute and rewire the thoughts one by one with more such videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rewire the Thoughts.